Welcome, everybody, to the Answers 42 Media Network. This is the Breakin Broncos podcast with your host, Dan Wetstein. That's my guy, as always, Dylan Miles. And Dylan, how has your day been today? Because mine's been quite entertaining.
Pretty relaxing. Day
Pretty
off.
relaxing.
Not doing anything today.
That's nice. I have spent the day
I just
going
went through
back
it while
and
we
forth.
were off.
It's greatness, isn't it?
It's
It is
pretty
absolutely epic. I have been spending the day going back and forth with Chargers fans, with them angry because I said nice things about their team. So I'm going to show y'all exactly what started it all. Oh, I didn't mean to take out my guy there. There we go. All right. So this is the initial tweet, everyone. This is what got all of Bolts Up Country, or whatever they call themselves over there in LA, the few that they have, got angry because of this tweet. I said somebody had put up, can we all agree that essentially Herbert is better than Lamar Jackson? Everybody here knows how I feel about Lamar Jackson. He's not better Herbert is not better than Jackson in any way, not by talent, not by accolades. And so that's what I said. And again, I said right after, I said Herbert has always had more to work with. Give LJ 3 number 1 receivers and 2 starting running backs too, and you will see the truth. They are both great. Again, both great with differing games. It doesn't have to be any of this extra ridiculousness. And what did I get? All of the extra ridiculousness, guys. This is insane. I'm going to just scroll through these real quick as they load for y'all. These are all of the responses. And, well, this is just a few of the responses and replies. I didn't even have them all. So I got 11 comments, 6 likes, or 6 retweets, and 8 likes. And the big thing here is that Chargers fans are mad because I consider Guyton and Jackson potential wide receiver 1s and RB 1s. Jackson averaged 5.35 yards per carry, and Guyton averages over 16 yards per catch. Yes, their total numbers don't look that great, but again, they have Williams and Allen in front of Guyton and Eckler in front of Jackson. So can you tell me, am I wrong? Did I take an L here?
No. And by saying Jackson's not are we saying Herbert's not a good player? Because he is. No, we're not saying that.
No,
he's a fantastic player. Just like you said, it's 2 different games. They are 2 different quarterbacks. It's like, this is like comparing, let's say, Peyton Manning to Mike Vick, right? Sure, back when he was younger, Peyton could move, but not like Michael Vick. Michael Vick didn't also have a lot to work with like Lamar did on these same teams. It's like similar. Peyton, sure, but Peyton's Peyton's not the best to say.
Mike Vick threw to.
I can't.
Exactly.
I can't, dude.
I can name you a running back, Steven Jackson.
That's the only one I knew.
Yeah, but that's a running back. But yeah, that's my point. It's like, dude, they're both great. But
and they don't even have Hollywood Brown anymore. So it's like, I can't even name another wide receiver.
You can't. The only person he has now is that tight end Andrews.
Andrews. Yeah, I was going to say Saubert. That's totally wrong. That's ours.
And he's Andrews. A tight end, not a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like the stacked offenses, and like, it's amazing to me how a team's fans can get so angry because I think that their roster's more stacked than they do.
And who do I think is a better quarterback? Who do you think would be the better quarterback of the 2? Lamar?
Me, I'm with Lamar. I am team.
You're with Lamar? I can see that. But you're looking at 2 different styles of QB.
Exactly.
2 different styles. They're both great in their own ways. I think Lamar is the better overall quarterback, but I think Herbert's the better game manager. And I think, honestly, he's the better
pocket passer.
Better passer. You know, he can run, but he can't run. He's not running like a 4-4 like Lamar is.
Exactly. And that's like what I explained to one dude. Is like, one dude tried to bring up the fact that Herbert can run. I never said the guy couldn't run. I never said the guy couldn't play. I said, I have it highlighted right there. It's in the freaking tweet. They are both great with differing games. I mean, maybe I should have used the word potential, but again, we're talking about Twitter. This is not Facebook. I have character limits. I couldn't put potential in there twice and stay under the character limit. So I removed potential That's literally what these people have been arguing with and saying that I took an L. Let me tell y'all what y'all did. Y'all added 10 percentage points to my engagement rate. Y'all, I have added 85 followers since this morning.
In other news, Derek Jeter's on Twitter today.
Right, there you go. I still have 100% reply rate. I've gotten 3 emails. Yes, I've gotten 3 emails from Twitter since this morning telling me about how much engagement I'm getting off of this tweet. So again, please tell me, where did I take an L?
I don't see it. I'm sorry, I'm blowing my nose. I don't see where you took an L.
You're good.
I see both sides, but I see both sides. I know you do too. I can see both sides of things, but I agree with you. I still think the better quarterback in general is Lamar.
When you take all of their talent and put it together,
swap places.
Jackson has something that no other quarterback in this league have. He is Michael Vick and Barry Sanders smashed together.
And
this guy is generational.
Swap him. Look at it. If you swap him, who's going to have the better stats still? Lamar.
I would
Justin Herbert's going to have still pretty great stats, but they're not going to be anything compared to Lamar with that chart.
Yards.
Yeah. God damn Justin Herbert though. What an animal. Yeah.
Like he is an animal. Like, and that's the thing is like I told a bunch of these people, like, dude, watch the show. I have no hate for Herbert. I have never once sat here and said anything bad about Herbert. Never. Not when he was in college, not when he was drafted, nothing. Hell, I even mocked him to you guys. Angry because I knew that y'all would not allow him to fall to Denver at 9.
And I think I'm a bigger fan of Justin Herbert than I am Lamar Jackson, but I like them both.
Right. And I mean, that's fine. Yeah. That's the biggest
but
thing.
I think
is like
Lamar's
these guys
the better overall.
They're trying to act like my opinion has no weight and I'm an idiot when they're talking. Like the biggest thing that made me laugh at these folks was I had a dude sit there and dog Guyton and Jackson. And then when I told him, okay, well, I gave you 5 legit options that Herbert has. So you tell me 5 of the options that Lamar has that are equal to it. This man says Gus Edwards and Rashad Bateman. Like you seriously sat there and dogged your guys, Guyton and Jackson, and then use Edwards and Bateman in your argument that those are better. Like in whose world? The only reason Gus Edwards had the numbers he did was because everybody in front of him got hurt and they run the ball so damn much. He got his from straight volume. He had less than a 4-yard per carry average. How is that better than Jackson, who, yes, had less overall yards, but has had at least 500 yards rushing every year in the league and average almost 5.5 yards per carry. And then again, you're talking about Rashad Bateman, who averages less than 11 yards per catch against Guyton, who averages over 16 yards per catch. Like, Guyton. How is that a serious argument?
I like Guyton so much too.
I really do like Guyton. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that he is the end-all, be-all, and the greatest thing that ever happened.
No.
But he is a legit number 1 threat on a bunch of other teams. Like, I will give you Atlanta, Green Bay, and Kansas City off the top of my head that Guyton is better than everyone on their roster outside of at KC. If Gordon can turn back the clock, he's the number 1. But even in that situation, Guyton would be a 1.
Is Gordon coming back to KC?
Josh Gordon, yes.
Yeah, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
He's their best option, but the biggest question mark.
Yeah, talk about some bad luck with some Josh Gordon. Man, it's just been a top talent, top threat every year just to get banished from the league and then to get brought back every season. He didn't get banished last year, though. That's good for him.
Right. I mean, he is the poster child for the ridiculousness of the marijuana rules in the NFL. He could have been one of the, if not the best wide receiver we've ever seen if they just let him play. When he was on the field, He was otherworldly.
Did you see him what he did in Fan Control Football League when he was smoking weed?
It was insane. It was unfair.
Speaking of Fan Control Football League, did you see that player got just kicked out of the league for lighting up a joint on the field after they won?
Wow, no, I did not see that, but it does not surprise me with who they have owning those teams. I mean, doesn't Snoop Dogg own one of the teams? So
something like that. I'm pretty sure. Doesn't it?
Marshawn Lynch owns one of the teams.
Doesn't Flava Flav own a team?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's a lot of weed smokers to be mad that the dude smoked some weed. I mean, I get.
On the field,
you got your league, on the field, whatever. But I mean, you're not the NFL. You are never going to be the NFL.
I love watching that because they stream it on Twitch and I'll tune in.
It's fun to watch.
A play, dude. I'll pick plays.
But I am not. It's not appointment watching for me. No. Like I'm not gonna knock a part of my day out to watch fan controlled football. If I'm bored and I find a game on, I'll watch it. But I'm not gonna sit there and actually niche out a part of my day. And hello, Nika, appreciate you as always.
I've had some people ask me about the USFL, and I go, I mean, sure, it's great. It's kind of.
I like the USFL.
I like the USFL, but I'm not going out of my way to watch it. I don't have a team in my state that I could be a fan of. Because what isn't it? Most of the states in the USFL are states that don't have a team.
Yeah, so that they don't have a competition with the NFL team. It's not always states, but it's at least cities.
They don't.
None of them are in the same city because there's some in Texas, there's some in Florida. So there's NFL teams there, but they're not in the same city as an NFL team. So they can try and get their local rights locked down and their trademarks and stuff like that.
It's gonna but I don't even know. No, I was about to spit on something. We can move on.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead. We've talked enough about everything else around the NFL. Let's bring it back to the Broncos. And one of our personal favorite Broncos came to camp a changed man. It is the belly no more. Quinn Meinerz has come to camp and looks jacked. Have y'all seen this man?
I haven't seen the picture.
You know what? As a matter of fact, go ahead and talk. I think I have a video to show y'all.
So the belly did? I'm going to miss the belly, but if he's jacked, I'm okay with it.
But dude, he is jacked. Wait till I play this video. I just got to find it real quick.
You know what's funny is a lot of the bright spots on this team, other than Russell Wilson, are these guys that haven't even been in the league for 5 years yet.
Yes.
I can't wait though. We got Court back last season. We could see he was iffy. Timmy P's top of his game. Jerry was back at practice today. Charges dropped. Like we predicted.
Yeah, like we predicted. The old lady went in and said, "Look, I was never threatened. Drop the charges. All she did was
like she's been saying from day one."
Yep, exactly. So it looks like he skipped out of legal trouble. There's still a chance. It's not guaranteed that he'll be suspended. But there is a chance Goodell could have a stick up his bum and suspend him. But
I don't see it happening now.
I found the video.
Once ownership stuff comes in. Once the ownership stuff comes through, it's going to be forgotten.
Yeah, it really will. It really will. But the reason that we're bringing this up and while that's processing is that it seems that this team has already bought into Nathaniel Hackett more than they ever did Fangio.
Yeah.
There was constant talk about players that didn't show up to OTAs or they showed up out of shape or they looked slow, or they looked like this, or they looked like that. But this year, it has been one guy after another that I know it's a lot of hyperbole when people talk about they come in looking, in the best shape of their lives. I have never seen this roster look so jacked.
And
this
some people
knows.
I hate the people getting. Sorry, finish.
No, I was just saying that. Actually, no, I lost it. Go ahead.
All right, sorry. But talking about people are still getting mad that people aren't showing up. People forget this is voluntary. No, some people probably aren't able to make it for some reasons when you see that they aren't there.
Has anybody other than Melvin Gordon not showed up?
Who was DJ Jones missed the other day. Randy Gregory, we obviously know why he didn't show up.
Personal reason.
Yeah, Randy Gregory. Kareem Jackson wasn't there, but he was there out for a graduation.
Right, personal reasons.
Yeah.
All these things, they're voluntary.
That's why it's voluntary.
with the Melvin Gordon thing, that man has not shown up to a voluntary OTA since his holdout in San Diego, when they were still literally. I'm not making a mistake.
He was there the other day, wasn't he? I thought he was there the other day.
He might have showed up, but he has not practiced.
Yeah,
but that's his thing. Like,
at least he's
doesn't
there.
Come to voluntary OTAs.
Yeah,
he doesn't. I mean, he's a veteran player. Yes, it's a new coach, a new quarterback. You would like him, but honestly,
and he didn't get signed later.
Right, and that means nothing more than Javonte gets more reps,
Mike
more
Boone.
comfortable, and more likely to become the number one and get the majority of the carries.
I think from what you've listened to, from what I've seen from Hackett on Twitter, heard him say, is he's the guy.
Yeah,
100%.
And
the nice thing is Mike Boone's getting more reps too.
Right. Here's the belly no.
What's up, guys?
How's OTAs been for you so far, and your comfort level with the new offense?
Yeah, so far so good with OTAs.
So we're back. I just wanted to show
my
you.
cam
Did
went
you not
out.
see that? Yep.
No, dude, man's got some big arms.
Dude,
What's up, guys?
How's
OTAs
been for you so far?
Yeah. Oh, it's not just the arms too. You can see it.
Yeah. So far so good
his
with OTAs.
chest, his
it's always
arms,
good
his
to,
shoulders.
Be together
everything
and
is absolutely jacked.
It's not like losing. It's not like he's not healthy. He's very healthy.
Exactly, and that's
just lost a little bit of weight, but
lost.
he's also he's lost a little bit of weight. But look at the muscle gain. That's what's important.
He goes on later to say he only lost 10 pounds, which means that he turned a lot of that fat into muscle. So he's still sitting at 320 with that ridiculous athleticism and already had strength for days.
I like that.
I can only imagine how he's going to maul now.
Even before when he wasn't even playing much yet, when he was still replacement coming in and out, he was a fan favorite. I like seeing these rookies that everybody else would overlook become fan favorites.
Right.
Like we were liking Javonte before everybody noticed him. That week 1 game when we talked, this is before when we started doing this together. We were texting. I go, dude, this is probably one of my favorite. He's definitely my favorite player on the team.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the preseason about we need to watch this kid because he looks special. And
in that
saw
week 1,
week in and week out. Yes, I mean from week 1 on. There was never a moment that I looked out there and I was like, he doesn't.
My favorite performance was a loss against the Chiefs Sunday night.
The 100-yard game he got because it was the one game he got to start and take the majority of carries.
That was when Melvin messed up his wrist, wasn't it? That recurring wrist.
Yeah, it was either a wrist or a knee. I can't remember which one. But
he has those 2 reoccurrings. It's the knee, and I'm pretty sure it's the wrist. But I don't remember which one it was. And it's nothing to worry about. It's those over the years for Melvin. That's why. And that's why
part of why he's not here at OTAs.
And and that's also why I wasn't mad when they brought him back. He's still consistent. Even when he gets these, he'll maybe miss a game or he just won't take as many snaps. It's nice to have a consistent player, but consistency goes both ways. That's the downside
I think
of it.
The lightened workload will work to his benefit. Very good. Yeah, the lightened workload will work to his benefit for the fact of it'll get him off the field more often. He won't take as many hits, so maybe those nagging injuries don't flare up.
Yeah, because last year we know the reason he didn't go to OTAs last year we knew was his knee.
Yes,
was the recurring knee injury. It wasn't like it was an ACL tear. It wasn't like a broken knee. It was high sprain.
And I mean, he came back faster.
And
we talked about how the year previous he was constantly getting hawked down from behind. And then he turns around and in game 1,
he had his best season, I think, last season in Denver.
Outside of his Pro Bowl season with San Diego, that was definitely his best season.
That's what I was saying. His best in Denver.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Is that that was his second best season overall, and definitely his best season in the 3 with Denver.
No, we get on Melvin Gordon a lot, but we don't hate him. I still like him as a player.
It's mainly his fumbling issues.
And he fixed it last year. He had the 2 last year? Instead of the 10?
He still had 4.
4? Oh, yeah, but he got 2 of them back.
It's better. Better.
He got the 2 back and then the 2 lost.
And he always has them at the worst possible moment. Yeah. I know you can't pick normally when that happens, but I mean, one of those fumbles literally cost the Broncos a game. That was the one against the Chiefs. They should have won. And they still almost won after
it would have been the upset of the century.
Right. But yet Chiefs fans don't want to talk about it. They want to act like that game was a 20-0 blowout when it was actually the actuality is y'all almost lost to Drew Lock. And like another sorry, I don't want to go back to this again, but another point I have to have is Lamar Jackson never lost to Drew Lock. Justin Herbert has. So we'll just leave that as it is.
Yeah, Lamar almost lost to Teddy.
He almost did. But again,
good game. That was the only highlight from that game that I remember was the 20-yard guy on the back of Javonte.
Yeah, Marlon.
The 3 guys on his back, 2 on each leg, busting through.
It was insane. Yeah,
looking like a running back straight out of the 80s.
And honestly, came down to the last play. I mean, not honestly, it was literally came down to the last play of the game where Drew Lock threw. I still don't understand how a 5'9" cornerback out jumps your 6'6" wide receiver. I still don't understand that.
Angles. That's the only thing I put it at was angles.
Well, it was because I mean, I can tell you exactly why. Instead of attacking the football, Cortland Sutton just laid back and fell down. He didn't attack. He just fell over. That's the only the Broncos probably would have won that game if Cortland Sutton's able to keep his feet and jump. Because there's no way you can tell me that Anthony Averett can out jump and outwork Cortland Sutton.
And you know what the nice thing is? What our doubts after that week of those games gone. I don't have to think about last season anymore. The lows,
right? Isn't that nice?
It's nice. You don't have to think about the lows anymore. We can only think about the highs of last season, and there were a lot of highs, I think, than there were lows.
There was more than people probably want to give credit for, but it was a really, really tough season. That was a
you know what I like to call that? A 50-50 season.
It kind of was.
You know, there is a lot of things to take away that are good and a lot of things to work on that are bad. And then
talking about taking away things that are good. How about we get back to this offensive line? So again, we just saw Quinn Meinerz, who has transformed himself. You have Hackett praising Netani Moody's athleticism, talking about he's a huge human that can run. So that tells you that Moody went out and did the same thing Quinn did. Because the whole reason, if I played that whole video, you'd get to the point where Meinerz was talking about the fact he took it on himself. This wasn't what the coaches told him to do. He took it upon himself to lose 10 pounds and become more agile and faster. And so it looks like Moody did the same. There's also a report of Glasgow losing weight, becoming lighter, faster. And your guy, Steven Gutierrez, got snaps at all 5 positions.
Good.
So with these revelations, does it help put to rest some of your worries about this offensive line?
It does. You know, there's not many holes in the offensive line, but there's one big one. Sure, I have a few doubts.
We all know it's gaping.
Yeah, and we all know it's gaping. It's that right tackle. If he's getting them at every position, I bet you by the end of OTAs, we're going to see it thinned out to 2 spots, maybe even 1.
You know what?
We could see it thinned out to maybe right tackle or even that right guard.
Right. And with Gutierrez, like you've made me really go in to do a deep dive on this kid, and his measurables are insane.
Yeah.
This is a guy that played all 5 positions in college, ended at center. And he reminds me a lot of Elgton Jenkins, the Pro Bowl offensive guard for the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, yeah.
What's funny is that his comp coming out of college was Garrett Bowles. And he has 34.5-inch arms. I know that doesn't sound like a big number for most people, but when you look at interior offensive linemen, he's in the 99th percentile all time. Not just in current offensive linemen, but if he was an interior lineman, he's in the 99th percentile all time in his height and arm length. He is built like a tackle.
Yeah, he's big. Finally getting to see some other pictures of him at camp finally. Mm-hmm. He's a big guy. When you see him compared
6'5",
to standing next to some guys, pretty big.
He's the exact same measurables as Quinn Meinerz, but with longer arms.
Yeah,
he's got these ridiculous monkey arms. Like they're like apish. They're stupid.
Biggest worry. Sorry. Yeah, no, they're freakish arms. Looking like what's the guy's name from Philly that played for Bama? Heisman.
I'm sorry, who?
The Heisman from Bama last year, the receiver.
Devontae Smith?
Yeah, Devontae Smith, dude, the freakish long arms.
Yes.
Yeah.
at ridiculous, like arms of somebody that's about 3 inches taller than them. That's the disproportionateness of it. And the craziest thing is like he has all these measurables and has a 9.83 RAS score.
Yeah.
That's 32nd all time since RAS scores have been. I think it's been since 2012. I think I might be wrong on that. I'm trying to go off the top of my head, but I think 2012 is when RAS scores became a thing and they started tracking it, and they've went back in time. So this is an all-time of anybody that's ever went to a combine. He is 32nd out of every lineman to ever go to the combine and get tested.
And you know
that's
what?
how ridiculous his athleticism is.
Going into the season, my biggest worry definitely was the O-line, but that's slowly starting to dissipate. Slowly. And my worry right now, my other one coming into the season, is definitely on the defensive side, and that is on the pass rush. Sure, we have these names that we know what they can do. It's still a little bit of a worry.
Already dropping.
Yeah, and Randy Gregory, Hackett said it today. He'll be good to go by training camp. They're gonna if he comes back to OTAs, it's gonna be limited. But from what it sounds like, he's gonna be back in July for training camp.
Yeah, and it looks like Jonathan Cooper will be as well with his finger injury. And there was another injury.
These are those weird injuries from OTAs because it's no pads.
He just got his finger caught in. These are jersey and it twisted it up.
It's these awkward. It's the awkward injuries from minicamp. They happen every year, and some of them. Yeah, some of them are. You don't really have to worry about too much because they're going to be that minor. The finger, what I still think is the worst one. One of the worst. Randy Gregory's knee is still up there.
I will say at least the most painful. But yeah, Gregory's shoulder.
Shoulder. Yeah, he had the shoulder, not the knee.
Somebody has a knee. Somebody has a knee. I know somebody has a knee. I can't remember who it is, though, right now. I got to look it up now. It's driving me nuts. Denver Broncos injuries.
Yeah, but it's not worrying anymore. If now Hackett's already saying, all right, you got a little banged up. It's nothing to worry about. We're going to wait for training camp. When you come in, we'll get you in. Because it's a week of practice without pads before the first pads practice in training camp? Something like that?
Yeah, it's the second week of June.
Second week of June, yep.
They're not on here anymore. So whoever we're thinking about, either they're no longer hurt or we're just tripping.
Yeah. I swear to God, we must be good because we talked a knee injury.
Yeah, we talked about one.
And it was on the defenses. No, it was O-line.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's Billy Turner.
Billy Turner
with the knee.
So he must be good now if he's off the list.
Yeah, he must be. Oh, wait, nope. He's still sitting as questionable.
So
is Graham Glasgow.
Not too worrying. It's questionable, not too worrying.
But no torn ligaments. Looks like Glasgow tweaked an ankle.
No
Turner
season ending.
Tweaked a knee. They have Henningsen tweaked a calf. Darby tweaked his shoulder. Purcell has an undisclosed reason he didn't practice. Reisner and Surtain are on there for personal reasons. I don't know why they're on the injury list then. KJ Hamler's still returning from the torn ACL. Jerry Jeudy is he has a back injury, but he did participate in OTAs on Tuesday. And Cooper was present but did not participate. He's scheduled for the beginning of training camp along with Randy Gregory. So that is the current injuries that we are dealing with in Broncos country. But again, nothing serious. Let's cross our fingers and hope that once contact comes in, it doesn't go. But that's usually what happens in these mandatory OTAs. Guys have been out. Not everybody's out there working like the other guys. And so some guys come in
like the guys that were out there working.
Happen.
The guys that were out there working the most were definitely on the offensive side of the ball because you had those guys out in San Diego for 2-3 weeks with Russ.
It was something like that, yeah. It was at least 2 weeks. And now they just be going to his new $25 million mansion here in Denver. Yeah.
They can have a theater room to watch film. It's perfect.
I mean, dude, they got two. He's got a film room and a theater. It's just stupid. But
the offensive side.
Right. But speaking of that was the most expensive real estate deal in Colorado history until the Walton brother and sister, cousins, the one Walton, Rob Walton, him and his cousin bought up almost $30 million worth of open arid land out by the airport about 2 weeks ago.
That's got to mean that they're set and sold as owners, right?
I'm just saying you don't buy $25 million of empty land for nothing.
It's going to be a stadium.
And you know what's literally
perfect
in the middle
about
of nowhere,
that?
out by the airport. So,
And you know what's perfect about that is people who are worried about them moving the team. You shouldn't be anymore.
That tells you right there they're going nowhere.
They're keeping it in Denver. And they've definitely had some of those talks. I bet you they've talked with a bunch of old Broncos already. Maybe Johnny, Rod Smith, McCaffrey, Peyton, all those guys.
Yeah.
This
is a franchise with a history. This isn't the St. Louis Rams who had already been tossed around the U.S., and they'd already been tossed around the U.S. They'd been in L.A., they've been in St. Louis, they've been in Arizona. Like, they've been in multiple places. So there was no real they have a history, but it's through multiple places. Denver Broncos have always and forever will be the Denver Broncos. Yeah. You can't move this team. It's one of the flagship franchises of the entire league.
And we've talked
to Pat Bowlen.
And we've also talked about that area around the airport for years.
Yeah.
Since we met.
It's the one that makes the most sense when you're talking about moving. He's going to want his own version of McGregor Square. Like what all of us watched Montfort do outside of Coors Field, he wants to do, but unlike Coors Field, where there's a bunch of zoning and open and businesses
to
buy
be able to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he was able to go out and buy up those businesses. That's not happening where the Broncos are. Those businesses aren't going to sell,
and they're gonna have to buy him out to be able to put a shop in there.
Exactly. So
and that's good.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be fun. Go out, buy a bunch of empty land, and then build out something. And then you don't have to do what they did when they built the new stadium, where parking was absolutely horrid for the 2 years because you're building one stadium in the parking lot of the old stadium. So with this, you don't disrupt the parking, you don't disrupt anything on game day, and you allow them to go and build something brand new. And I guarantee you it has a dome, so we get a Super Bowl.
God, I can't wait for an indoor stadium, dude. It's going to be very nice out there too, because also the train runs out there.
Yes,
all the way out there. People take the train to games today.
It's within walking. The land he bought is within walking distance of the tram.
Yeah, the tram.
It's too obvious
because they know people. The tram. Mostly people will take the tram instead of park to the games. Majority take the tram over, and that's what's going to be nice is you still can, and it's not going to be a big mess like around the Pepsi Center. Sorry, Ball Arena.
Yeah, Ball Arena, whatever.
The sack.
Whatever you want to call it. The sack. The hairy sack. Okay, we'll move on from that before we get too far. So, speaking of under the radar moves and players, could PJ Locke, the safety, be an under-the-radar player going into the 2022 season?
Yes. Have you heard how they talked about him?
Yes, man. The way that Sutton talked about that, man, was like he was talking about a Pro Bowler. He was talking about PJ Locke like he was one of the best safeties he's ever played against. It was insane to watch the way that him and Simmons profused over PJ Locke.
And I bet you that is one – that would be the second biggest signing of the season for the Broncos. Like Russell, no signings, like pickups, like acquirements. That would definitely be the second biggest because Russ will be number one.
Yes. PJ Locke is a former undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
Another one of those stories coming out of Dove Valley. He's 5'10", 202 pounds. So he's essentially Kareem Jackson 2.0. And I think that the Broncos have both their heir apparents. Justin Simmons isn't going anywhere anytime soon, but Caden Stern's a legit free safety, and he can also play box safety. He's a real versatile, just like Justin Simmons. And then PJ Locke is that shorter, squattier missile, just that wants to destroy any and everything that's in front of him. I would say, again, comp to Kareem Jackson, but with more speed.
Yeah. And, Kareem Jackson, there's something inside me that's saying this is his last year in Denver.
He's old, man.
Yeah,
He's old.
maybe there's a chance they resend him to another 1-year deal like they did this year. But you know, if they do pick up PJ Locke, there you go. There's your replacement to Kareem Jackson, who's done very steady work over the years for Denver while he's been here, and he's even said this is the place he wants to retire. So I bet you when they tell him, he's gonna be like, you know what, it's time.
Right.
The man had a great career, but for not winning a Super Bowl, the man has the stats of a great career. I'm not saying Hall of Fame level, first ballot, maybe years later, but
hey, definitely got the talent and could definitely get into that conversation.
Who knows? We get him a ring this year, he gets there.
Yes, he does. But again, I think they have their perfect replacement, even if he's not here. Between him and Jamar Johnson, like I like Jamar Johnson's ball skills, but he leaves a lot to be desired in the physicality aspect. Like he makes business decisions at a position that you don't get to make business decisions, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He'll olay a couple of guys if he doesn't feel like he can't just level them, and he's just all about ball hawk. He's just all about getting the interception, which is fine to a point. But he's a safety, not a cornerback.
You have the money to sign him for this season, and the ability to extend him the next season. You'll have, or who are you talking about?
I was talking about Jamar Johnson.
Oh, I was going back to PJ.
Oh, gotcha. No, I was talking about the reason I like PJ more than Jamar is because I love PJ's physical style. He has all of the physical traits outside of Jamar Johnson has him by like 4 inches.
Yeah.
I think Jamar's like 6'1" or 6'2".
Something like that. But if they do pick up PJ, that's the ability to sign him this season to 1 year and to even guarantee him that you'll get an extension next season and you could double it how you play.
Yeah. And PJ's already on the roster. So I mean, like I said, he was a former undrafted free agent. He was signed to a futures contract. He's been on the practice squad the last couple of years, and it looks like he's done his work while being on the practice squad. I think this is the year he makes the 53, and I think he makes Jamar Johnson expendable. Like I said, I like Jamar. I like his ball hawking ability, but he's just not physical enough of a safety for me. If I have a safety, he's got to hit.
And I won't be surprised if we see PJ getting a lot of snaps in week 1 against Seattle.
Yes.
And that would be one of the
it's gonna
but he'll get some in week 1.
Yeah.
He'll get some week 1.
The thing is that I like about him is he's versatile enough. He might be able to squeak out that hybrid safety role in the sub packages that Gyro Evero is going to use a lot. They are going to use more dime and nickel packages in this defense than we have ever seen before. That's why there are so many cornerbacks and so many safeties on this roster, is because they are going to use all of them. So I will backtrack a little bit. And I won't jump on you too much about the snaps because I think he will get the snaps. He won't be a starter. That's Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons, barring injury, without a doubt. They're one of the best safety duos in the league. And
I think if not the best with all the recent transactions this season.
I can't argue with you. And my thing is, I think PJ can take this from a 3 deep safety group with Simmons, Jackson, and Stearns and make it 4 deep. And have their safeties match the depth of their corners. Like you could literally interchange these guys and have that next man up mentality and not be worried about a loss in production.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing I wanted all of you to take from this. So speaking of draft picks and who's going to have an impact this season, which Broncos draft pick will have the most impactful rookie season in 2022 in your eyes?
Okay, it's down between 2. It's obviously Nick Bonito and why did I just forget the Harris name, dude? I am not. You can tell I've just been relaxing all day. You can tell I've just been doing nothing. Yeah, Greg Dulcich. So it's between those 2, and if I'm thinking who's going to have the better season out of all of them, it's going to be Nick. It's going to be Nick Bonito. What is it?
Bonito.
Okay, Nick Bonito. It's going to sound like that. That's the only way I can say it.
That's fine.
It's fine. I think it's going to be impactful because look at the injury side of the pass rush. Bradley Chubb has a history, especially with that ACL. Randy Gregory definitely all over his body, but we'll see getting into training camp. I think Nick Bonito will because he'll get more reps than Eric Saubert will because it's him and Alberto. Alberto's the guaranteed starter right now. Who knows? It could change in training camp. A lot of things change in training camp. But no, Nick Bonito, out of all the rookies, the draft picks, definitely him. If not, Eric Saubert is number 2. Eric Saubert.
I got you.
Greg Dulcich.
Greg Dulcich.
Why am
We
I
do
having
have a
something with
Saubert.
Saubert? Yeah, why am I
do
all
have a
over
Saubert.
Saubert today?
I don't know, brother. I don't know. I like Saubert.
Oh, it's
but
because he got signed the other day. That's why they re-signed him the other day.
Probably. But I'm going to go a little bit different direction and back to the guys that we talk about a lot because nobody else likes to talk about it. I'm going offensive line. I like this kid, Luke Wattenberg. He was drafted as a center, a lot like Steven Gutierrez we talked about before. He started out as a left tackle, moved to left guard, and then to center. And he's another guy that has a lot of size. He's got more than 34-inch arms, again, as a center, just like Steven Gutierrez. So I think that there might actually turn out to be a competition at right tackle, not with Turner, Anderson, and Compton, but between Gutierrez and Wattenberg.
Oh, God.
Because I think they have enough options on the interior with Moody, Meinerz, Cush, etc.
Yeah.
That they can fill up those and then see what they have in these athletic freaks. That again, this is a outside zone scheme, which means that on every single play, it's all going to look the same. Like the more I read about this offense, the more it reminds me of when Shanahan came over from San Francisco. The way that the O-line has been made up.
That's where he came from.
Yes.
And look at the lines he worked with. Oh my
he is a Bill Walsh disciple. So like their thing is making every play look the same. So even though you might have this one formation, they'll have 5 or 6 different plays, both run and pass, that could come out of that formation. So you never know what's coming. And on every play, they are going to make you move east and west. It is not a power scheme where you just line up on your guy and try to run him over.
Yeah. And
this is a zone scheme where you try to move them left to right, and then you just kind of guide them in the direction that you want. You don't have to be an overly powerful human. You just have to be athletic and technically sound enough to get the right angle on the guy you're blocking to, again, you're just pushing him. You're using his own momentum against him to move him out of the way and create cutback lanes. Because again, in an outside zone scheme, they might say run the A gap, but when the plays ran, if the hole's in the B gap, you better cut back and hit the B gap. Otherwise, the coach is going to rip you off the field and stick you on the bench.
And a lot of people forget Bill Walsh is technically the founder, inventor, whatever you want to call it, of the West Coast offense.
It's not technical. He is.
Yeah, he is. And, offense. A lot of people didn't copy him until Shanahan ended up in Denver running.
And the success.
And I was going to say, it's the same, but it's altered. It's its own, what would you say? Its own variant. It's its own variant of the West Coast.
And the variant that Shanahan brought was that every play looked the same.
Mm-hmm.
That was where he took Walsh's idea of the short, quick passing game and made it his own. As he was the one that invented what Andy Reid and all these other guys are getting.
Of what everybody's doing today.
Yes.
He set the pace.
Yes, the movement, the pre-snap movement, that didn't happen before Shanahan. Ever, anywhere. Everybody just lined up and ran the play. That's just what it was.
And the nice thing was,
pre-snap movement was invented by Shanahan.
Bill Walsh is literally invented it, and Shanahan's the one who carried it on and made it its own thing. Yeah. And it's turned in all over the place. West Coast offense, that's what it's called, but it's not the same. They're their own variants of it. They're branching off into their own types, and a lot of people are running West Coast, but their own.
As I look at it, as I've watched the plays in OTAs, this looks almost identical to Shanahan's offense.
And he has something to do with it. You know, because he's been at practices with Hackett, and Kubiak ran the same offense too. when he was in Denver for the Super Bowl, and Gary Kubiak was there. Not even 3 days ago, at practice.
I think it was something like that. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
just a couple
and
days ago.
he's just think of all the people.
Oh,
Hackett is
you
able to
can
talk
look at
to.
him. He looked like a proud papa. Like
Yeah.
if you go and watch look at the photos and stuff, it's like he's like a proud papa. Like, yeah. This is
It
my
was his
stuff.
first home outside of where he came from. He still lives in Denver.
Yep.
You know what I find the best part is people who come to Denver to play don't leave. Even if they go to a new team, they find their way back to living
Even
there.
Peyton. Like that.
Dude, he does nothing with the Colts. They gave him his statue. And he does everything with the Broncos.
Doesn't do anything in Indianapolis. Like
all he had to do was treat him better.
Right. Like I cannot remember the last time I looked at a news clipping with Peyton Manning and Indianapolis be in the same headline.
The last one I can tell you was 4 years ago when they gave him a statue, or a few years ago.
Yeah, that's about the only
that's
thing
the
I can
one
remember.
Since he's been in Denver. That's it.
They
gave him a statue, and he's like,
time.
"Nah, fam, I got to do fun stuff over in
Appreciate
Denver."
you, but I got a bust over here too. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm already in the Ring of Fame.
Yeah, I'm already in the Ring of Fame.
How did he get in the Ring of Fame in Denver before he did in Indy? How about that one?
Because what's his name?
And y'all wonder why you don't want to do nothing with y'all?
And he's already got his Ring of Fame. And when you watch the Hall of Fame, they showed mostly Bronco highlights.
Yes.
And dude, when he gave his message to the Colts, it was dead quiet
and
in
it was
the crowd.
he spent 2 minutes talking about the Colts, and the rest was about the Broncos and his time in Denver.
And how he thanked Pat Bowlen, John Elway. And he thanked more people from the Colts than I think he did from the Broncos than he did the Colts.
Right. Yeah. And
maybe the select few from the Super Bowl team, like Jeff Saturday and those guys.
No, he didn't go in with a Colts hat, did he? Didn't he go in with just an NFL logo?
Yeah, he just had a Broncos.
On his bust,
an NFL hat. Yeah.
Yeah, on his bust, it was just an NFL hat or something. It's just hilarious to me, like how much.
No. He's got both on there. It's the NFL with both logos, but the Broncos is above the Colts.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure, and the Bronco is above the Colts.
We're above the Colts. That's all that matters.
We got. What do we have? 2 more Super Bowls in them, or one more? One.
Yeah, probably.
If you want to count the Baltimore.
Yeah, I guess, but we don't talk about those things. So, speaking of people being more in line with you than me, PFF ranks Broncos the 7th best team in the NFL behind the Chargers and Chiefs. Again, this is more in line where you have put them. You put them somewhere between 5 and 7 in most rankings. Yeah, so somewhere in between there.
But I had the Chargers.
But they belong behind both of them.
I had the Chargers at 7. I think they're a great team. Don't get me wrong. I think they have amazing players. But looking at talent-wise, Denver so far, Denver's better. Talent-wise, on paper-wise, Denver's better. But we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't been in the preseason. We haven't got into training camp. We don't know. But I would have it 7 Chargers, 6 Broncos, and 4 Chiefs. Maybe even 5 Chiefs. Because they don't have the roster they've had.
Yeah, this is where we'll differ a little bit. I would keep the Chargers above the Broncos, and I would put the Chiefs just below the Broncos.
Because when you've heard me talk, I have them equal. I still think equally, talent-wise, LA, I was about to say San Diego, LA and Denver are the same in one way, talent-wise. But paper-wise, I think Denver is just better, stat-wise.
I got you. I can't argue with that much. That's perfectly sound logic. But speaking of, they ranked them 7th. Well, how accurate is PFF, right? That's what y'all are thinking. Well, we're going to show you how accurate they are with these rankings just by comparing last year's to this year's, and then we can project going forward. Once I can get this share to work.
From what I remember, they're not that bad. It's one of the ones I'll read the most, yeah.
Yep.
I read them more over NFL Network, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I do like PFF. Like, you got to take some of their stuff with a grain of salt, but like their
most of the time you don't.
Rankings,
yeah,
most of the time they're good.
Skill positions, you don't really have to. I can agree with pretty much 90% of them.
Yep, this is the right one. Okay, so this is last year's. These were their Super Bowl contenders last year. Green Bay Packers, Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Buffalo Bills, and Dallas Cowboys. Really, outside of the Cowboys, they nailed that on the head.
Yeah,
'Cause every
the
single one
Cowboys
of
were
those-
looking like that until later into the season.
Yeah.
So
Every one
it's
of those
pretty
teams
accurate.
made it to the championship game at least, if not into the second round of the playoffs outside of Dallas, who still was a playoff team.
I'm
But-
not gonna lie, that game was a heartbreaker. That's just how much I like Dak.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I love Dak. But playoff caliber were Cincinnati Bengals, made the playoffs. Arizona Cardinals just missed the playoffs because they, again, just cratered it down the stretch. Tennessee Titans, who got the number 1 seed. A lot of people like to forget the Tennessee Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. The Los Angeles Rams, who won the Super Bowl.
What a
The
game.
New England Patriots, who did go to the playoffs. The Indianapolis Colts, who did go to the playoffs.
No, they
So
didn't.
they hit-
Colts didn't. They
Oh,
missed
wait,
it
that's
in week
right.
17.
Last
The
game,
Jags game,
Carson
baby.
Wentz.
The best
The
game of the
Jags game.
season.
So out of all those playoff contenders, well, only one didn't go to the playoffs? Yeah, no,
Yep.
2. The Arizona Cardinals and the Colts, who both collapsed in the last game of the season.
Cardinals lost the wild card to the Rams.
Oh, wait, that's right. They did squeak in.
So it's
That's
just
right.
the Colts.
They lost to the Rams. So, yeah, just the Colts were the only team that didn't make the playoffs. And then they had spoilers, San Francisco, who went all the way to the championship game.
What a
The
game.
Philadelphia Eagles, who
What a
somehow
run.
snuck their way on into a
Just to
winning
meet
record.
Brady, round 1.
Yep. Los Angeles Chargers, who had a 9-8 record, and the Las Vegas Raiders, who somehow snuck their way.
All
into
they
the
had to do
playoffs.
was tie. They both made it in. All they had to do was tie.
Yep.
They both made it in.
All they had to
Even
do
the
was tie,
Raiders
and they
players
both-
said they
and
were
they
going to just
almost
kneel.
did. Wasn't it like
And then-
2 minutes left or something?
No,
like that
it
when
wasn't.
they
It
kicked
was
the game?
it was last second. They were
That's
just going
right.
to take a knee, and then then Chargers head coach called the timeout. They're like, let's just kick it.
All right, well, let's just kick it and see what
Yeah.
happens. Yeah, they were just going to take them both into the playoffs.
Because it
That's
was like, what
hilarious.
if you miss? That was the only reason. Like I was like, I would have gone for the knee. I would have
Right.
taken that tie. I was like,
I mean,
boom,
hey.
we make the playoffs. Sure, they make it, but we won't see them until a championship game.
Quite possibly. Yeah, with the way the seeding went. Exactly.
Because who would
But,
they would have played over the? Who would they have made it in over? Who was in the playoffs that year? It was, they would have made it in over the
because
Patriots.
It was whoever made it in because the Colts lost.
Because the Chargers would have played the
I think it
Bills
was the
instead of the
Patriots. Yeah.
Patriots did.
Yep. Yeah, I think the Patriots are the reason why, are the ones that got to sneak in there. But this is the one that really, like, the accuracy that really stuck out to me is that this was a team that everybody was hyping last year. Everybody was thought, oh, Lamar's going to take another step. They're going to be great. They're going to be Super Bowl contenders. Well, PFF called it from the get-go that they were going to be an average team, which is exactly what they were. They finished 9-8, wasn't it? Or no, 8-9.
8-9.
Yeah,
Because they
8-9.
lost Lamar for most of that season.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really Lamar. Lamar played the whole. It was everybody else got hurt.
I thought he
on the
missed a few
roster.
games. He missed like 2
I think
games
he missed
towards
like
the
one
end.
or two. Yeah, 1 or 2 towards the end when they
That
were
would
already
have if they
really out
won
of it.
those games. They played those games close, and if they won those, they were in. If Lamar was there,
Yeah, with they would have won those games because like, what's his backup's name? Like
it was
really
it's
good.
our backup. It was Josh Johnson.
Was it Josh?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Josh Johnson.
I swear he had a different name. An interesting name.
Oh no, you're right. It was Tyler Huntley. Josh Johnson was on that
Yes.
roster.
Yes,
he was the third.
Yeah, but Tyler Huntley actually came.
Yeah.
He won a game for him.
Yeah, he
too.
didn't play bad
He had a game-winning drive.
against the Browns. I'm
as
pretty
a
sure.
rookie. Yeah, I think it was the Browns where it was that last second drive where after it was the game that Lamar got hurt and he came in and rallied them back to a win. So, yeah, but PFF called it from the beginning. Right there, you've seen it. They called it. They called the Broncos average. I don't know if I'd call them average. They were definitely below average in my opinion, but
Hey, average
they
is
weren't
average.
fall off. Yeah, average is average. The New Orleans Saints, they called that one from the get-go. People had high hopes for Jameis Winston. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they had right on. People thought that, Big Ben's last year, they might do something. They almost willed
I
themselves
mean,
into the
no,
playoffs, but
that's who it would have been. The Patriots would have made it in the
That's
place. It would have
right.
been the Steelers. The Chargers would have
Steelers.
gone in over the Steelers.
Yep,
I remember
you
that
got it.
because you saw the video of Big Ben on FaceTime with half the team when they kicked the field goal.
Yep, going
Hey, at
crazy.
least you got to go to a playoff for your last season.
Yeah, and
But
then
I
get
would have
mollywhopped
much
in
rather
the
had
first
the
round.
Chargers in there. It would have been an entertaining playoff.
I would have much rather
Because it would have been
seen
Chargers
Justin
versus
Herbert play
Chiefs.
quarterback.
They would have beat the Chiefs. They beat them last year.
I think they would have.
Didn't they
I
beat
think
them
so,
last
too.
year?
I want to say they did, and I think their first.
It was
matchup,
in Kansas City. Yeah, because the first one was in KC. Because the second game was that crazy overtime game in LA. That was one of my favorite games of the season.
Yeah, pulling it up just to get the exact. Nope, the first matchup, the Chiefs won 34-28.
Oh, were they both losses?
I don't know. I'm looking for the second matchup here. Where's the second match? 34-28 there. Or no, that was the second matchup. My bad. Oh, no, yeah, I'm sorry. They did win the first one, September 26th, 30-24. And then, each home team lost. The Chiefs lost at home to the Chargers, and then the Chargers turned around and lost at home at the end of the year to the Chiefs, which is what gave the Chiefs back the division. They were still leading the division up at that point, and then they gave it up, and the Chiefs ended up winning it at the end.
Yeah,
and I do have a bet out there. If the Chiefs win the division by 2 games this coming season, I have to put the Chiefs logo up on my Facebook page and my social medias for 2 weeks. If they don't win it by 2 games, even if they win it by just 1 game, my guy James has to put the Broncos up on his social medias as his profile pic for 2 weeks. That's kind of a little gentlemanly bet that we got going on. Because it was funny to me to watch them trying to convince themselves that they could trade away Tyreek Hill and Juju Smith-Schuster, McCole Hardman, and Josh Gordon are going to replace that production. Like they really have tried to convince themselves that there's going to be no drop-off in production.
A little bit of copium
after you trade. Right. Yes, definitely. All the copium. All the copium.
A little bit of copium there. They don't really know.
That copium addiction is strong in that one.
Yeah. Who knows?
But so
we never know. Going to be a fun year.
Right. Yes. So real quick before we go, I got another new announcement for y'all. Dylan's not even ready for this one. It looks like Santiago enjoyed Saturday so much that he is actually going to do a second podcast with me. And so Saturday's going to be Nug Life with Amato. Sundays will be Skipping Rocks with Santiago.
And whenever we can do this, whatever day in between that.
Yes. Yeah, this will be in between. We still have Callie and Sasquatch Says on Thursdays. This podcast, until Dylan gets himself a solid schedule, may bounce around a little bit, but we will at least get you one show every week.
We should be back to every Thursday coming starting next week.
Yep. Should be something like that. And we'll try and keep that as stable as possible. But again, we roll with the punches around here. We understand, and we'll make things work. But again, at the very least, you're going to get an hours worth of content every week for the Broncos from us right here on the Answers 42 Media Network. So make sure y'all are checking them out. Make sure you follow. We are now, last time I checked, we were at almost 1,400 followers on Twitter. I'm going to check again real quick.
I'm on it
We're
right now.
At 1331.
Yeah.
So we are getting close to 1,400, almost to our next goal of 1,500 we set, a week ago? So
we hit 1,000 less than a week ago.
Yep. So in less than a week, I've added another 331. And again, 85 of them came today where I took all the L's. I took all the L's. They're all right here. If this is how I take L's, y'all, I will take an L every day. Every day. Every single day, I will take these L's. So I appreciate y'all. Keep bringing the L's. Keep bringing the love. We love y'all just as much as you love us. Again, we are here every week with the Breakin Broncos. I got now, 5 podcasts going? I can't even keep track anymore.
Well, this one, Avs, Nuggets.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, and 5 with West Coast.
With West Coast, West is best.
Yeah.
So yes, I have 5 podcasts for y'all coming at you every single week, and that's almost 1 podcast a day. Y'all cannot tell me I'm not giving you the content that you deserve. But the next time we talk, if not before, will be Thursday Sasquatch Says with Callie. Make sure y'all tune in. Then after that will be Saturday with Santiago on Nug Life, and then Sunday again with Santiago right here in the studio. He sits right next to me. That's a lot of fun. We got to get you here, dude. That was so much fun. I don't know if you watched the podcast.
I watched.
Saturday,
I got a few snippets.
Yes,
we can try and find. I'm gonna wait a few weeks because I just took 5 days off in August.
Just whenever you get the time, man. No rush.
Because there could be a time if one of my weekends, Wednesday, Thursday, I could drive down for a day.
Hey, man, whatever it takes. We're here. We're always open for you. The couch is always right here, ready for a new booty to sit in it. But that's all the stuff I got for today. Reminder, all y'all, right down here. That's the Twitter. Again, we're at almost 1,400 followers. We're pushing that so hard because that's where we're getting the most love. So make sure that you follow on Twitter because that's also where most of the giveaways are.
It's
because
also
again, they are showing us the most love, the most relevant, and it's the only place that's giving me money. So
we like money.
We like all the money. We don't have enough money yet, but this is the only place that we're getting anything from. So make sure you go and check out the Twitter. Make sure you check it, follow it. Follow the tweets. That's where I'm most active because, again, that's where we have the most followers, get the most engagement. So I'm just following the numbers, guys. It's no offense to y'all that are on Facebook, things of that nature. We're going to still keep bringing the lives and things, but my main focus right now is Twitter because, again, that's where I'm getting money. So if y'all want the most content, follow us on Twitter. It's right there. The link is just down in the description. You don't even have to go search for it. Just go down to the description, click on the link for Twitter, and it'll bring you straight to the profile. You'll hit follow, hit the little bell so that you get the notifications. That way you know every time we tweet, every time we're live, etc. That way there's no guessing. But I think I've spoken enough on all this. I've done enough shameless self-promotion. For the Answer is 42 Media Network and the Breakin' Broncos podcast, I'm your host, Dan Wetstein. That is my co-host, Dylan Miles. We love y'all. Thank y'all. And as always, don't question the blue.